Facebook announced today the shutdown of 32 pages and accounts involved in what the company calls coordinated inauthentic behavior. In a statement on their site, Facebook said that the accounts were involved in activity similar to the Russian meddling in the 2016 election. This marks the first time Facebook has acknowledged propaganda campaigns on their site. The company did not specify which pages were shut down. CNET executive editor Ian Sherr joins us now from San Francisco to talk about all this. So, Ian, what exactly did Facebook say that they found on these pages and on the accounts?
So they found basically bad behavior that mimics a lot of the meddling that they saw before. And they won't directly link it to Russia. They are giving some hints that there is connection, but it's very hard to tell. They say that these the ads and the stuff that was spent money on was using U.S. and Canadian dollars, and it's really hard to tell. But there are a few telltale signs that make it feel like it might be connected, and one of them is that they said that there are some linkages to protests that are planned coming up that are very similar to the way the Russian meddling was accused to have happened during the 2016 election.
What's the significance, though, Ian? Facebook coming out and saying we're going to delete these accounts, and also these accounts were involved in propaganda.
You know, it's a really important thing because it indicates that Facebook is on it and trying to deal with these things proactively. I think one of the biggest complaints that people have about Facebook right now is that it feels like they're incredibly reactive to all of the news and all of the bad stuff that's been happening. And if something happens, they try to scramble and fix it. But this seems to be something where they're showing that they actually are really trying to stay on top of it and not let the bad stuff happen and then try to clean it up afterwards.
We know that Facebook stocks plummeted last week. The company lost nearly $120 billion. Do you think that this could have had an effect on their decision? And will the announcement restore confidence in the company?
I think that Facebook understands internally that this is a very hard issue. And Mark Zuckerberg, to his credit, has been saying for quite a while that cleaning up this mess is going to pretty badly impact their profits. And this was the first time that we saw it last week when they reported their earnings to Wall Street. And so I don't think that there's really that kind of concern inside of Facebook. But in terms of restoring people's trust in that company, there's a lot of work to do. And I think that Wall Street needs to know that not only can Facebook fix its problems, but that it can still make money after it does.
Do you think Wall Street buys that?
I think that Facebook is still printing money hand over fist. The question is how much they grow, right? And a lot of the question that came up last week was that have they hit this period where everyone who was going to use Facebook has roughly signed on? And so all of this easy growth is gone. And that's not exactly connected to the Russian meddling and all the concerns around elections, but people's trust in this service does change as these stories keep coming out.
Do you think, Ian, that Facebook has learned from the Cambridge Analytica scandal and we're going to expect more action like this in the future?
There's no question that they've learned. The message that we hear constantly from them is that all of the stuff that they did and the mistakes they made and that they didn't take seriously enough their job stewarding our information, all of that they've been saying a lot of now. The real change is how proactive are they going to be? How good are they going to be at making sure this stuff doesn't happen in the future? Great, good that they can clean it up, but what's the next step? And I think this is the first sign that they're really trying to do that.
On that same thread of really trying to change something, midterms are coming up in November. Any sense from Facebook, are they trying to do anything to prevent interference in this election? Is this something that they really are actively trying to keep an eye on?
I mean, I think this is specific story right here, that they're closing down these accounts, that they're identifying bad behavior. This is a sign right here that they are trying at least to take care of the problem. But, this is whack-a-mole. There are so many bad behaviors happening on Facebook, and there's so much that's been, these meddlers have been able to figure out ways to manipulate Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of these things to help with election meddling. It's going to be very hard for them to fix this problem, but that's their job. That's what they signed up for.
Ian Sherr, grateful you can join us, Ian.
My pleasure.